Welcome to National Focus. I'm Kimani. Coming up, Parliament discusses an Eastern Caribbean Asset Management Corporation bill. The MV Mien Schiff 3 makes its inaugural call to Dominica, and the Drug Prevention Unit lends support to those affected by Tropical Storm Erika. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this. Welcome back. Up until press time on Tuesday, the House of Parliament was deep in discussion about enacting a bill to give the Eastern Caribbean Asset Management Corporation jurisdiction in Dominica. The corporation is meant to regulate and supervise the banking sector as a region. This is why the entire Eastern Caribbean Currency Union of the OECS will seek to make this law. The currency union comprises all the nations which use the EC dollar. That is Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, Montserrat, St.Luce, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and St. Kitts and Nevis. Honorable Acting Finance Minister and Prime Minister Dr. Colin McIntyre tabled the bill.
2008 saw what has been described as the worst global economic crisis since World War II. Some pundits may even say that the lingering effect of this crisis make it the worst economic phenomenon for the last 100 years. At the center of the crisis were the difficulties suffered within the financial sector. In developed countries, some of the best-known banks were affected, many of which were eventual beneficiaries of the government bailout financing. The financial crisis did not just affect banks. Insurance companies and other financial services were affected. In the Caribbean, the story of Clico and Baico is well known, and the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank was required to intervene for banks in the currency union area. Madam Speaker, the experience in the last few years makes it necessary that we strengthen the financial sector regulations and supervisions and put systems in place to be able to respond to any challenges that may arise.
The decision to enact such a law was taken by the member states of the ECCU in February. The corporation, which was customized to suit this region, will primarily manage the assets and liabilities of approved financial institutions. Honorable Minister for Trade, Ian Douglas, gave this example.
You go to the bank, you contract a loan for $20 million, $30 million, and you build a hotel. And we know that hotels during their start of early periods are very heavy as far as their debt load is concerned, and very difficult actually to break the back of those loans. And so any intervening global situation can affect the profitability or the success of those business enterprises. And so through no fault of the owner or the enterprise, those businesses may fall into hard times and maybe fall into difficulty in the repayment of those loans. What this corporation does is it gives the institution from which the loan was contracted the ability to pass those bad loans, pass their portfolio of bad loans onto that corporation. So that corporation in turn could manage those loans and probably work with the hotelier or the business person or the investor, either to bring those loans back on track, Madam Speaker, or to find other ways of dealing with the strapped asset and not using foreclosure as the first option, as is probably traditional in most of the circumstances, Madam Speaker.
The corporation will also be tasked with protecting the interests of depositors or members of each indigenous bank.
Anytime we allow a bank in the region to fold or to go under, really at the end of the day, the ultimate victims of that situation are the depositors. And we saw what happened with Clico. I mean, persons who had spent all of their lives in England, working in the winter, working in adverse conditions, and saving their little pennies up, coming home, moving back, to the small islands after retirement at the ages of 70 and 75 on average, sometimes 80 years, and enjoying their little pensions, invested in those companies. And when those companies folded, Madam Speaker, there were a lot of grassroots persons within the currency union and, in fact, the entire region who lost. And those losses amounted to millions. So governments have to be responsible in this new dispensation to pass legislation to protect the deposits of depositors. And that is what we are trying to do here, Madam Speaker.
The corporation will be managed by a board comprised of a director from each member state with adequate financial expertise. A chief operations officer will oversee the day-to-day activities of the corporation. An audit and an oversight committee are also a part of the structure. The board will be governed by a strategic plan developed every 2 years. We'll bring you more from that discussion in a subsequent newscast. The MV Mien Schiff 3 of Touristic Union International, or TUI, Cruises made its inaugural call to Dominica on November 10th at the Roseau cruise ship berth. This is the first of its 11 calls to Dominica for the 2015-2016 cruise season. Addressing the ceremony was Chief Executive Officer of the Discover Dominica Authority and Director of Tourism, Colin Piper.
Your business is our business as well, the cruise business, and we are, as you can see, it's a great part of the economy for Dominica. So we have a number of people employed to service your guests when they go on shore, and certainly we hope that quite a number of them are onshore on tours, and we expect that there will be great reports when they come back.
The Mien Schiff 3 is a TUI line's first vessel built with energy-efficient solutions and environmentally friendly power plants that reduce emissions by 30% in comparison to other vessels of similar size. The ship also has a passenger capacity of 2,506 and 100 crew. Chief Executive Officer of the Dominica Air and Seaports Authority, Benoit Badwell, notes the importance of the cruise season following the impact of Tropical Storm Erika.
We have everything that you can ask for from the natural environment, and we're coming with everything in the sense that a few weeks ago we had, you must have heard the news in relation to Tropical Storm Erika, and we're doing everything to bounce back and to ensure that we can bring all the things that we offer in terms of our natural products to the tourists. And we're in fact doing a lot to bring Dominica back to where it was before Erika. And your ship being here signals to us that indeed you are very supportive of our efforts in terms of rebuilding the industry. And we want to compliment TUI for in fact ensuring that the ship continues to call to Dominica.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Gerard Jajak, remarked that the crew and passengers will find Dominica unlike any other island.
From your approach to the island, you would have seen the mountains look different. The water, I assure you, have water of your own, but the water tastes different. We like to think that we have coined the expression nature adventure. It is so different. I assure you that upon every visit, your crew and your guests will find that there have been some improvements, because we are very busy in the Ministry of Tourism. So we have quite a menu of programs organized to improve the destination as time goes by.
From Dominica, the MV Mien Schiff 3 ship sails to Guadeloupe, Antigua, St. Martin, and the Dominican Republic. Persons in communities greatly affected by Tropical Storm Erika are getting some much-needed support when it comes to substance abuse. Since the passage of the storm, the Drug Prevention Unit has gone into the hardest-hit communities to bring vital information on substance abuse and trauma. Coordinator of the Drug Abuse Prevention Unit, Jacinta Banis, says so far they have visited the communities of Petite Savanne, Fort Saint-Jean, Bagatelle, Good Hope, Collio, and Dublin.
The walkthrough It was therapy for us as well as therapy for the people in the community, because even if you're not affected directly, but indirectly, I think all of us suffered because of Erika. You know, what we see on television, the stories we heard, you know, from other persons, that itself was very traumatic. But going into the site and seeing, you know, the danger, is, what happened, brought some sort of like relief, you know, to persons who were just hearing it, but not actually seeing, you know, the damage. So we went into the communities, we collaborated with, for example, in Jubla, we had the clerk of the council and other persons from the council and other community persons who saw us, you know, they came out with us. So we went, you know, around distributing, we produced a brochure entitled Substance Abuse and Trauma. So after we spoke with residents, we could leave that with them for them to read further, because it gave them some hint in terms of some of the symptoms, you know, they'll experience, some of the psychological symptoms, behavioral symptoms. For example, children might not want to go to school. If at time a little rain, they may feel traumatized and might not want to go to school, or they might feel isolated, feel withdrawn. Some other persons might turn to alcohol and other substances.
The coordinator says there are many ways people can choose to cope with these type of events, including sticking to a daily routine and finding activities that make persons feel better.
Some people might be so bored, you just they just sitting there. But they can begin to organize activities, you know, among them, probably play some games. People who can sew can teach others to sew. Even by hand, you know, you can do something. So you want them to engage themselves after, you know, a situation like that, because, I mean, we are not in this situation, but if we find ourselves in that situation, it's very traumatic. So what we are saying to members of the community is that after trauma, yes, you know, you have a lot of issues to deal with, emotional, behavioral, psychological, but you cannot drown your sorrow in alcohol or drugs.
Visits to the communities of St.Luce and Whitaker have been postponed due to inclement weather. The coordinator says the unit is willing to assist residents in whatever way they can.
Some people want to vent their story. Some people are stressed emotionally, and it is a lot of work that has to be done. So we at the drug prevention unit, we are saying post Erika, we are willing to go into the communities once we are invited to work with persons who need help. We'd like to provide them with more information so that they can make, you know, that kind of decision that we want them to make, to see that they have to look beyond the drug, beyond the alcohol.
You're watching National Focus. Stay with us.
Introducing the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app, available for download from the Google Play Store, One Mobile Market, and the Government of Dominica's website. Access to all ministries and sub-departments' phone, email and office addresses and websites. Simply select a ministry and the sub-department. You can dial directly from the app or save the numbers to your phone contacts. It's convenience at your fingertips.
Is my passport ready for pickup? Good. It really works.
Download the Government of Dominica Internal Directory mobile app today.
Welcome back. Earlier last month, the Division of Culture, in collaboration with the Create Caribbean Inc. Research Institute of the Dominica State College, launched a digital research resource dubbed The Road to Independence, a virtual journey, forming part of Dominica's 2015 History Week. In an exclusive interview with the GIS News, Director of Create Caribbean Inc., Dr. Shyla Esprit, gave an update on the progress of the website, www.dominicahistory.org. Esprit noted that the organization has been primarily focused on gathering information from the 1950s to the 1970s.
Our focus has been so far on collecting materials on events taking place between 1950 to 1978 that have influenced in a significant way the independence movement in Dominica until our achievement of political independence in 1978. So that is our main focus, and so far, since we have launched the website, we've added quite a bit of material, including primary source information on different events taking place in Dominica in the 1970s particularly, so we've added more documents from the 1970s, which was a really important decade at the community level for influencing independence in Dominica. We've also added a lot of exhibits on information pertaining to specific topics related to lesser known events or lesser known information about what was happening in Dominica during that time.
Some of the exhibits will include calypso, religious activity, and famous law cases and biographies of influential persons such as Dominica's first Premier Edward Oliver LeBlanc. Another pivotal area of the page is the primary school section.
We're developing specific interactive, more colorful, a little more lively and comic interactions for the students to be able to interact with some of the complicated themes that we're talking about, but in a more accessible way for their age group. And we're adding exhibit, a show on the different political parties that existed in Dominica between 1950 and 1978. So they have a lot of mind maps available for them to see the relationship between different events and different activities in Dominica. That is also a feature of the site. If one goes to the archive page, they will also see additional videos featuring not just events taking place at the time period 1950 to 1978, but also YouTube videos, for example, that feature cultural dances or events from the cultural gala. So we've managed to amass a wide range of information that was already publicly available in different parts of the world, in different parts of the World Wide Web, and bring them together under this one place.
Dr. Esprit notes that currently the site can be seen as a living document, a combination of data collection of primary sources, some analysis, and the use of technology to display said information. She says that the next step is adding more content on the site from the community level.
The community-based activities that we are planning are to go together with the community organized events that we already have cataloged in the primary source documents. So when we were doing the initial research for that, Cray Caribbean had worked on a previous project for Small Projects Assistance Team, SPAT, which is a community activist organization that was very active in Dominica in the 80s and 90s. And so that collection really helped us to understand the prior decades of what was going on in Dominica in terms of how grassroots organizations, social organizations, theater groups, youth groups were really influencing the activities in politics and in the society in general. So we basically went through those documents and included some of those on our site already, but what they taught us is that there were many influential people at the community level who were writing, who were publishing, who were going into schools, who were having school protests at high schools and the sixth form level in order to get people aware of the needs of the people in Dominica, of the challenges that were being faced by the average Dominican at the time, and how independence would help with some of those things.
And finally, as a member of the Caribbean Tourism Organization, or CTO, Dominica joins the rest of the Caribbean in celebrating Caribbean Tourism Month. This year, the month is celebrated under the theme, One Sea, One Voice, One Caribbean. Caribbean Tourism Month aims to raise awareness among Caribbean people of the importance of tourism in the Caribbean and to enhance the profile of the Caribbean tourism sector in the marketplace. Caribbean Tourism Month also has the objective of reminding the people of the Caribbean region of the invaluable impact tourism has on the economic, social, and cultural well-being in the Caribbean. It is hoped that during this month there will be increased positive media coverage for and of the Caribbean and the local tourism product, and to celebrate the diversity of what the Caribbean offers.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à ces nouvelles en créole. Non moi, c'est McPherson St.Luce. Premièrement, ministre de la Santé, honorable Dr. Kenneth Darrow, qui a fait parole qui est arrivé pour grouper assister petit pays qui a développé. Honorable Darrow fait parole salam, sinon on l'a pas qui affecte petit pays qui a besoin d'assistance.
Année après année, on a parlé contre ça actuellement tant qu'à venir là nous ne pouvons actuellement comme zop non quand il y a dans le chemin nan de sala nou ne go conference, nan de annual conference nan ko United Nations Framework on Climate Change. Ça c'est beaucoup de conférences. On partit 21. Oui. Comment dire press conference là, c'est pays Eurozone, France, England, c'est place ça. Nous avons que c'est eux qui ont plus sympathique pour pays qui qualité qu'on nous. Nous espérer, nous avons confiance là que qu'on a meeting en France, Paris dans des salles en décembre. Nous espérer que bon bitin qui sorti de meeting ça, espérer qu'on nous doit experience Tropical Storm Erika l'année passée à l'année c'était St.Luce à St.Vincent. So whole issue climate change et change climatique c'est vraiment en l'air non. Nous préparer les monde qui commencer plus conscious contre ça nous temps pour capitaliser pour cacher dans les BTS situation because nous besoin d'argent.
À la nouvelle, Dominicien qui vit à Saint-Thomas a fait contribution plus de $50,000 pour assister Dominicien vivre du bout depuis Erika. Présentation pour le gouvernement et puis 6 autorités locales pour place au la chèque de présenter.
Eh bien, je dis ça là, nous présenter l'argent pour 6 village council et le gouvernement. Eh bien, l'argent ça, c'est l'argent nous travaillons pour lever en Saint-Thomas. Et il y a une activité comme Gospel Concert, Band Splash, Roadrunner, Art Auction. Il y a aussi des gens qui donnent l'argent, mais nous travaillons. L'argent là, nous aussi voyons 3 40 feet containers pleins. Il y a commission, il y a GLOW, il y a WIMED. Nous les remercions, le gouvernement. Dominicien qui a été en Saint-Thomas, en USVI, puis yo ba autant. Totola ba autant, et Saint-Croix aussi. Mais je dis ça là, Saint-Thomas ba l'argent, $51,000 ici. Nous ba 6 village council, Delis, Boetica, Petite Savane, Coliho, Colibestry, et Good Hope.
À la nouvelle, ministre éducation qui a observé le mois de novembre comme mois éducation des enfants. Moun qui a une position comme ministre de l'Éducation, Honorable Kelvin Darrow, délivrons l'adresse en observance activité pour moi ça. Honorable Darrow dit depuis Erika passé, on l'a dit nous pas de cas que l'école qui vivait, j'ai voué pour observer moi éducation des enfants. Quand même pas grâce bon Dieu, nous avons poussé devant et puis nous là en novembre pour observer moi ça. À ce compte gouvernement, Honorable Darrow fait parole la peine pour Tichati Savane Melina Darrow qui perdit la veille pendant Colton Erika. Et aussi one la peine pour Akela Henry Hot Gwambe qui est aussi mort Hot Colton Erika. Et dit Erika bien dommagé secteur éducation des enfants, mais par la grâce bon Dieu, nous que aller devant. Et puis finalement, le gouvernement Dominique formulé un plan pour les résidents de Savane qui est affecté par mauvais Colton Erika. Parole ça là sorti hors coordinateur affaires mobilisation caille pour ces résidents là monsieur Lucien Blackmore.
Même l'instant dans le ouest mon petite savane c'est farming community BOL c'est place la vie nous pour faire santé nous relocater nous aussi need access pour agricultural land so you ça reconnect every livelihood also c'est on est pas mettre des places pour mon habiter mais mon pour aussi ni livelihood aussi maintenant c'est un bagage qui est compliqué il y a un lot autant issue considération nous pour prendre into consideration et nous faire certains nous faire ça en manière qui bien organisée well systematic pour faire certains nous pas nobiler quitter any bagage de war so on a dit actuellement de pour faire considérer nous faire bâtir ça nous faire to best international standard industry practice and to ensure that we have best practices maintenant.
Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle pour à présent. Non moins c'est McPherson St.Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, your tip of the day. A number of infectious diseases can be spread from one person to another by contaminated hands. Washing your hands properly can help prevent the spread of the organisms that cause these diseases. Make sure your hands are thoroughly dry, as drying your hands properly is as important as washing them. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Kimani. Thanks for watching, and join us again next time on National Focus.